Christopher Robin is the newest movie to star the Winnie the Pooh characters and the first live-action adaptation of these characters. Now, unless you have Benjamin Button's disease and were just born in old crippled shit and haven't experienced a childhood, you grew up with Winnie the Pooh. It's definitely something I watched a lot as a kid. It's something that I was pretty invested in when I was really young, so I was actually looking forward to this movie. I especially wanted to see the different take, because obviously we're used to Christopher Robin, the human boy, being this young kid who just has all these different animal friends, and now we're gonna see him as an adult encountering them again. That's intriguing to say the least. And in the trailers I saw, I thought to myself, they play their cards right? This could maybe be one of the better movies of this year. So the movie starts off with what we already know. We have this young boy named Christopher Robin. He goes to the 100-acre wood to spend time with all these friends that he has, consisting of Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, Eeyore, Kangaroo, Owl, and Rabbit. Except this is essentially his last day in the 100-acre wood because he's being sent off to boarding school, and then from there we get a bit of a montage of what Christopher Robin's life became. He dropped off at boarding school, eventually met his wife Evelyn, they had a daughter named Madeline, and now he works in a luggage company. And Christopher Robin, as an adult, is played by Ewan McGregor, and I thought Ewan McGregor was really good as Christopher Robin, because what you see in Christopher Robin is a guy who's become consumed by his work. He's overworked at this job, he doesn't really give a shit for this job, it's causing him to neglect his wife, his daughter. He really doesn't look back at all on Winnie the Pooh or any of those guys. It's something you see a lot with adults. Some adults just go into a career and they forget about the things that matter most to them because they let that career consume them. And what I also appreciate seeing is you see in Christopher Robin's daughter Madeline, she's studying really hard to get into this private school, this really smart school, a prep school to get her ready for the future. She really doesn't want to go there, you know, she wants to go to a public school, she wants to play with kids her own age, she wants to have fun, she wants to be a kid. But she feels she needs to do this because this is what Christopher Robin did, it's the example he's setting upon her. And you see it in Christopher, he knows that he shouldn't be letting this work get in the way of his life, in the way of his marriage and being a dad, but it's something that he's just allowing it to happen. He knows he shouldn't, but when it's a job and you have to provide for your family, sometimes you have to. I mean, it becomes apparent when his dickhead boss tells him, hey, I need you to work this weekend, and Christopher Robin's like, but I'm supposed to take my family away on vacation. It's like, well, we're gonna need you to stay, sorry. But he sends his wife and his daughter away to just enjoy vacation, now he's stuck home doing work. And now it's right around here, he runs into a familiar face, and that familiar face is Pooh. I gotta say, it's really awesome to see Pooh in this movie because he's exactly how you remember him. You know, he's a silly old bear who's very good-natured, very kind, very caring, and what I love seeing most with him is just the simplistic way he sees life. Pooh just sees life in a very simple manner. He has a very curious nature with the things that he's now experiencing. And what I like seeing is the dynamic between him and the adult Christopher Robin, because obviously when you're a kid, that's also how you see life. But once you're an adult, you don't. Like, Pooh could be saying certain things, you could be asking about certain things, and it's kind of annoying Christopher Robin, but he, like, can't really get angry at Pooh because, I mean, one, it's Pooh, it's impossible to be angry at him. I mean, have you seen that face? But ultimately, you see with Pooh, you see a childlike mentality. You just see him seeing the world for what it is. One of the things I also liked in this movie is the fact that they essentially made Pooh and the other characters from the 100-acre wood, they made them real characters. I mean, I always felt when I watched a cartoon that these characters, that these creatures that Christopher Robin hung out with, that he was friends with, they were like imaginary friends. Like, these were creatures of his imagination that he would go and play with as a kid. I mean, odds on, when you were a kid, at one point, when you were really, really young, you had imaginary friends. You had an imagination world that you would visit, that you would play in. That's essentially what I always saw it to be with Christopher Robin. And here, these characters are real, this place is real, it actually happened. So Pooh takes Christopher Robin back with him to the 100-acre wood because he needs him to help him find his friend. So Christopher Robin goes to help. So Christopher Robin goes back. We see all the other characters, and this is where more of the nostalgia really kicks in. It's great to see Piglet again and how he's so nervous about everything. It's great to see Eeyore and how he's so depressed about everything. It's great to see Tigger bounce and sing and spell his name. You see all that happen, you're just like, ah, the memories. And what I like seeing here for Christopher Robin is here's where he begins to embrace his imagination again. He begins to relive it. He embraces the inner child that's in him. That's in everybody. He's playing again. He's using his imagination again. The characters in the 100-acre wood, they're finally warming up to him more. They know it's him again. After hanging out in the 100-acre wood, Christopher Robin has to go back to the real world because he has to get to work to give this big presentation about how he's going to save the company money. And now it's here, Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Eeyore, they go back into the real world because they got to bring Christopher Robin his briefcase, and they also feel they still need to help him. And here's definitely where more of the comedy takes place because because it's very amusing seeing the other three characters trying to figure out what exactly the real world is. So they're discovered by Evelyn and Madeline, and Evelyn's at first terrified of them, and Madeline, just being a young girl and being a kid, you know, she just embraces them. I will say though, right here, I was a little disappointed that these were the only 4 characters from the 100 Acre Wood that really shine in this movie, really stand out. I mean, the other 4, Rabbit, Owl, Kanga, and Roo, they're only in a couple scenes of this movie. You don't really see enough of them. I mean, granted, Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Eeyore, they're probably the most popular ones from Winnie the Pooh, but the other ones matter too. I guess I want all these characters to get their moment to really shine in this movie, and the fact that half of them didn't, that was kind of disappointing. And then along the way, they of course reunite with Christopher Robin, and it's in this moment everything just finally hits with him. He realizes that he was wrong about work, wrong about the way he was seeing life. He makes up with Evelyn, he makes up with Madeline, and he tells Madeline, you don't have to go to a private school, you should have fun, you should go to a public school, you should enjoy your life. It's also in this moment he kind of gets hit with an epiphany for work as well. He makes this big proposal to the head of the company. He tells them, hey, let's reduce the price on luggage so people can go on vacation, then they'll buy more luggage, and, you know, we'll actually flourish as a company. And they're just like, okay, cool, yeah, we'll do that. I guess it's not really that I had an issue with him coming up with a proposal that was going to save the company, but I guess part of me wanted Christopher Robin to come in and just be like, you know what, this career is putting me on a different path. I can't neglect my family. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go pursue something different. I feel like that would have flowed a little bit better with the story. I mean, granted, the head of the company is eventually on his side. He feels what he's doing is the right thing to do. And, you know, his boss, who was being a dick earlier, he kind of gets shit-canned. I don't know if he really gets shit-canned, but he definitely gets berated by the head of the company, which is good to see. I don't know. I don't think with the fact that he came up with an idea that's gonna save the company money, I still can't buy into the fact that Christopher Robin is now gonna like working in this place. Yeah, now Christopher Robin has a new lease on life. He brings his family to the 100 Acre Wood, where they all spend time with all the other characters. Christopher Robin learns the valuable lesson that even though you will grow up in life, doesn't mean you should lose that imagination and the fun-loving spirit you had as a child. All in all, Christopher Robin, it's a sweet movie. Ewan McGregor was really good as Christopher Robin. I loved seeing how his character developed along the movie. It's awesome to see Winnie the Pooh and all the other characters in a live-action movie. I love seeing most of them how I remembered them. There's a lot of nostalgia in this movie, and that is awesome. I love the message in this movie how just because we're gonna grow up, just because life will become more difficult as you grow older, doesn't mean you shouldn't see life entirely that way. Don't be afraid to embrace your imagination. Don't be afraid to embrace that little kid that's always going to live inside you. To always make sure that the most important things in your life, like family, should always come first. And the old friends you had in the past, don't give up on them. The flaws I have with this movie are, as I mentioned before, I don't feel some characters in the 100 Acre Wood really got a chance to shine. I mean, from what I remembered from the Winnie the Pooh cartoon that I always watched, they all had different personalities, they all had unique traits to them. I was really hoping to see all of that again in this movie. The movie understands which ones are the most popular, those are the ones they rolled with, I can understand that. But I do wish we got to see more of the other ones. And also, if I'm being honest, this movie didn't hit me as emotionally as I thought it would, as I wanted it to. I know I talk about all the time how I never cry in movies. I was really hoping that Christopher Robin could be one of those few that did make me cry. Because going into this movie, after watching the trailers that I saw, I thought this movie was gonna emotionally destroy me. It didn't really quite hit me on that level. I was really hoping it would. But in the end, Christopher Robin is an enjoyable movie. It's a really solid family film. And as far as a live-action adaptation for Winnie the Pooh could go, I think they did well here. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.